Welcome fam! Before we dive into the story, please kindly subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share your thoughts below. The boardroom fell silent as Marcus Rodriguez stepped through the mahogany doors of TechCorp's executive suite. 23 floors below, he could see the maintenance closet where he'd once stored his mop and dreams. Now, wearing a perfectly tailored Armani suit, he watched CEO Richard Johnson's face drain of color. The same man who'd laughed at his ridiculous ambitions was now gripping the conference table, realizing the mysterious buyer who'd just purchased his failing company was the janitor he'd fired 3 years ago. "Gentlemen," Marcus said, his voice steady as steel, "I believe some of you remember me. I used to clean these floors." The silence stretched like a taut wire. Richard's mouth opened and closed like a fish gasping for air. The other executives shifted uncomfortably, suddenly remembering their cruel jokes about the dreamer with a mop. Marcus pulled out the same worn notebook he'd carried while cleaning, the one filled with business plans they'd mocked. "Today, we're going to discuss the future of this company. My company." 3 years earlier, Marcus had been invisible. Every night at 11 p.m., he'd clock in at TechCorp's downtown Chicago headquarters, transforming from a man with MBA-level ideas into just another face in coveralls. While the city slept, he'd mop their floors, empty their trash, and study their business strategies. His supervisor's desk always had reports lying around, financial projections, client complaints, missed opportunities that Marcus could solve with his eyes closed. During his breaks, he'd sit in the empty conference rooms, textbooks spread across the polished tables, teaching himself advanced coding and business analytics. His mother, Maria, would pack extra sandwiches, knowing he barely had time to eat between his 3 jobs and night classes. "Mijo," she'd whisper, "your father cleaned offices too, but he never stopped believing in better days." The security cameras caught him once, hunched over programming tutorials at 3 a.m. Instead of getting in trouble, it became office gossip, the janitor who thought he was smart enough to run the place. The company Christmas party was held in the same ballroom where Marcus had scrubbed champagne stains off marble floors just hours before. He'd volunteered for the event setup, hoping to network with employees who usually ignored him. Dressed in his only suit, bought secondhand for his community college graduation. He'd prepared a 60-second elevator pitch about his app idea that could revolutionize their customer service platform. But as he approached the executive circle, Richard Johnson's voice boomed across the room. "Can you believe that janitor thinks he can pitch business ideas? The guy can't even afford a decent suit." The laughter that followed cut deeper than any blade. Marcus felt every eye in the room turn toward him, some with pity, others with cruel amusement. He'd spent months perfecting that presentation, staying up until dawn after his shifts, believing that hard work and good ideas would be enough. Standing there, holding his rehearsed speech, he realized he was nothing more than entertainment for people who'd never worked a day in coveralls. Monday morning brought the pink slip. Marcus found it clipped to his time card with clinical efficiency, termination for unprofessional conduct, and unrealistic workplace expectations. No explanation. No second chances. Just a security guard escorting him to collect his personal items from a locker that smelled like industrial cleaner and broken dreams. His final paycheck was $247, barely enough for next month's rent. As he signed the exit papers, something fluttered to the floor. A business card from the Chicago Startup Accelerator Program. Full scholarship available for underserved entrepreneurs. He'd forgotten applying months ago, back when hope felt possible. Walking out of TechCorp's gleaming lobby for the last time, Marcus passed the bronze plaque by the elevator. Success is built on the foundation of big dreams. The irony wasn't lost on him. His former co-workers averted their eyes, suddenly fascinated by their phones. Only Maria, the elderly cleaning lady from another company, pressed a folded 20 into his palm. "Keep dreaming, Marcus," she whispered. "Some of us still believe." The scholarship program changed everything. While juggling 3 part-time jobs, delivering food, tutoring kids, and weekend construction work, Marcus poured every spare moment into building his first app. His studio apartment became mission control, walls covered with business plans, coding syntax sheets, and a photo of TechCorp's building that served as daily motivation. Clean Tech Solutions started as a simple idea, software that helped service companies optimize their operations. Marcus knew the industry's pain points intimately. Inefficient scheduling, poor communication, wasted resources. His first client was his old cleaning company, desperate enough to try anything. The app saved them 30% on operational costs within the first month. Word spread through Chicago's service industry underground. Small business owners started calling, then larger companies. Marcus's phone, once silent except for bill collectors, now buzzed constantly with contract offers. 6 months after his termination, he'd earned more than his entire previous year at TechCorp. His mother cried when he moved her from their cramped apartment to a house with a garden. "Your father would be so proud," she whispered. By year 2, Clean Tech Solutions had 23 employees and offices in 3 cities. Marcus's keynote speech at the Chicago Business Summit drew standing ovations, the same event where TechCorp executives had once dismissed him as just the help. Venture capitalists lined up with million-dollar offers, but Marcus was selective. He remembered being ignored and ensured his hiring practices prioritized talent over pedigree. The $2 million series of funding round made local news. Marcus insisted on celebrating at his mother's favorite restaurant, the same place where she'd worked double shifts to pay for his textbooks. As he signed the contracts, his hands still trembled slightly, muscle memory from years of exhaustion and uncertainty. But success felt incomplete. Every morning, he'd drive past TechCorp's building, watching the company's stock price decline while his own value soared. Richard Johnson's face still appeared in business journals, though now the headlines were about layoffs and declining profits. Marcus found himself researching TechCorp obsessively, not from nostalgia, but from something deeper, something that felt like destiny calling. The financial newspapers painted a clear picture. TechCorp was hemorrhaging money. Poor leadership, outdated technology, and a reputation for treating employees as disposable had finally caught up with them. Marcus studied their quarterly reports like a chess master planning his endgame. Their market cap had dropped from $50 million to $30 million, with rumors of a forced sale circulating among investors. From his corner office, which now overlooked TechCorp's building, Marcus watched Richard Johnson's desperate attempts to save face. The same man who'd mocked his unrealistic expectations was now on CNBC pleading for investor confidence. The irony was delicious, but Marcus wanted more than just satisfaction. He wanted justice. His legal team confirmed what he'd suspected. TechCorp was actively seeking a buyer. Their debt, combined with toxic company culture, made them a risky investment for most firms. But Marcus saw opportunity where others saw liability. He'd built his business understanding exactly what TechCorp was doing wrong. Now he could fix it, one termination at a time. The acquisition offer went through anonymous lawyers. TechCorp's board, desperate for any lifeline, didn't ask many questions about the mystery buyer willing to pay $35 million for their troubled company. Marcus watched from across the street as Richard Johnson paced in the conference room, probably rehearsing a speech about new partnerships and exciting opportunities. The due diligence process took 3 months. Marcus's team found even more problems than expected: sexual harassment lawsuits, safety violations, and a pattern of discrimination against service workers. Every discovery strengthened his resolve. This wasn't just about personal revenge anymore. It was about justice for every employee who'd been dismissed, overlooked, or humiliated. On the final day before the sale closed, Marcus visited his father's grave. "I'm about to buy the company that thought we weren't good enough, Papa," he whispered to the headstone. "Tomorrow, they'll learn what happens when you underestimate a dreamer." The autumn wind carried his words across the cemetery, and for a moment, he could swear he felt his father's approval. The boardroom revelation was everything Marcus had imagined and more. Walking into TechCorp's executive suite as the new owner, he savored each shocked expression. Richard Johnson's face cycled through disbelief, recognition, and finally, terror. The other executives, who'd once treated him like furniture, now scrambled to appear welcoming. "Hello, Mr. Johnson," Marcus said, settling into the CEO chair where he'd once been told to empty the trash. "I believe we have some unfinished business to discuss." The power shift was seismic. The man who'd fired him for unrealistic expectations was now unemployed, his company's future entirely in Marcus's hands. The first order of business was reviewing personnel files. Marcus had memorized every employee who'd shown him kindness and everyone who'd participated in his humiliation. The cleaning staff got immediate raises and profit-sharing packages. The executives who'd laughed at the Christmas party found themselves updating their resumes. Effective immediately, Marcus announced, we're implementing new policies about workplace respect and opportunity for advancement. 6 months later, Richard Johnson stood in Marcus's office, wearing a janitor's uniform. The same hands that once signed Marcus's termination papers now gripped a mop handle. Consider it a learning experience, Marcus had told him during the job interview. You'll gain valuable perspective on how this company really operates. The role reversal was perfect. Johnson, now understanding the dignity and difficulty of service work, had become a surprisingly effective cleaner. More importantly, he'd apologized, not just to Marcus, but to every employee he'd previously mistreated. The company culture transformed from toxic to thriving under Marcus's leadership. Marcus's old mop, now displayed in a glass case with the plaque "Dream Big," became a company symbol. TechCorp's stock price tripled under his leadership, proving that success comes from recognizing talent everywhere, not just in corner offices. His mother visited often, always bringing homemade sandwiches for the cleaning crew, a tradition Marcus insisted on maintaining. The best revenge, Marcus learned, wasn't just massive success. It was using that success to lift others up while teaching bullies the value of humility. Sometimes the janitor really does know how to run the company better than the CEO. If this story inspired you, please like this video, subscribe to our channel for more incredible comeback stories, and share this with someone who needs to remember that no dream is too big when you're willing to work for it. Comment below, what's the biggest dream you've been told is unrealistic? Your comeback story might be next.